Man, let's just say that this guy just will not die. Like, how many times do you have to kill a man before he's actually dead? Now, granted, as in this anime, Bleach, that we're talking about this, because X the Axis, yeah, he's a god. Starting off, he's just a guy with a sniper, a gun itself, while everyone is using bows and arrows. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna use my gun. It's just sniping people, no problem. And he's like, yeah, my power, it goes straight through anything, no matter what. Yeah, come to find out, yeah, he's even more powerful than that. Now, I didn't discuss this in the last time that this guy showed up in Bleach, but he had mentioned that he was the first person, the first one that was given power by his majesty, if you will. Now, there was a discrepancy in the manga where at one point it said he was the last one, and then it went back and said he was the first one. And thankfully in that episode, he came back and said the line that he was the first one. Well, I didn't want to discuss it then because I want to wait it to this moment because it makes more sense why that even matters, that he is the first one. Yeah, he's given a whole lot of power to the point where he's like godlike. Definitely has been shifting and changing more so than everybody else. Like we saw Herendidus, the left hand of the Soul King. We saw him, and he became a hand and he became huge. Yeah, this guy, let's see, he's been attacked. He's had his head cut off. He's had so much done to him. He was poisoned, with the head commander's Bankai, there was a lot of things that happened to him. And he's like, oh, okay, you would think he's dead now. He's dead, Jim, it's over with. And now we see why that one episode was cut short, because right after Shunsui said, and then we're like, what was he gonna say? What was he gonna say to his Zanbakuto? Yeah, he gets shot through the stomach. And I'm just looking at him like, dude, how much can he take? Like, of course he's the captain commander and there's a lot that you can take, before you quote unquote die. Like the previous captain commander, I mean, he didn't die until he was literally cut in half. And even the halves were like, okay, is he still gonna survive? No, he's dead, okay. Now, dude's got a hole in his shoulder, hole through his gut, hole through his side. Like he's just like all over, he's got holes and he's still trying to help Nanao. Let me help you with this sword. It's like, dude, if you don't chill out, heal yourself, do something, because you are you having some trouble here. But the key is that this was a great moment, and thus the reason why I wanted to wait until this moment here before we discussed about why the whole power thing by Yuaba was important. Now, there's really not much to discuss about this episode. Everything was pretty straightforward. They kept true to the manga. There were some times where I thought they had skipped some parts where they skipped the lines. For example, when she was injured, that I thought that they were going to kind of skip over that because they showed her with him holding the sword, helping her. I was like, oh, okay, they're just going to skip over it because they fit a lot into this one episode that I honestly thought was just going to be it. That was it. There is one moment they didn't add into this episode, but I'm not going to talk about it because I do believe that they'll probably add it in, like maybe as the starter for the next episode or a different part. It's too important for them not to skip it. So, seeing how the end credits in this episode show that it's probably going to be about Bosby for the next one, I'm reserving some things that I don't want to talk about because, like I said, I do believe that they will discuss and it will come to fruition and be a cool moment. So I'm being quiet about that. But I will say that I did like the direction they did this episode. Like first they showed the thoughts of Shunsui as he is in the, shadow world or whatever, and he's looking at Nanao as she is about to attack. And then we see later, we get her perspective as she's sitting there like, I've been cut. Having a sword and fight with a sword really is hard. It hurts because she doesn't have a propensity to sword fighting. As she even said in her backstory that it was her Kido that got her to lieutenant status in this squad. And I'm sure the fact that she is actually his niece helps as well. But the fact is that this is her quote unquote Zanbakuto, and that's why she couldn't really align herself to a actual Zanbakuto. Like she couldn't make one, manifest one when she was being in 13 court guards, because this is the sword that's handed down to her family that she is more aligned and attuned to. But like I said, I did like the fact that they went through his mind and what he was thinking as he's like, don't worry, I'll help you. And then she's like, I'm hurting, help. Oh man, like she's just bleeding from these cuts in her legs. Like she could barely stand herself. And thus, after they took down, finally, X-Axis, she couldn't keep her footing and kind of fell, but thankfully he helped her up. Now, this episode was called Shadows Gone, and I actually think it was a fitting name for it because here we see the shadows of the past. Like, you know, we learn about Shunsui and his older brother and how he died, and we also learn about Nanao's mother, his sister-in-law, and how she died. Like, it's so sad that he died because of the quote-unquote curse. Whether or not it is the curse or if there was some other manifestation that he died, they imply that it was the curse that took him out. And how she had to, Nao's mother had to go back to her family, and she takes the actual sacred sword and gives it to him to hold on to. But because she gave it to him to hold on to, she's convicted of misplacing this sacred treasure that is literally handed down in their family and so important for their family that she's executed for it. And so thus the reason with these bad things happening to the people that he loves, why he has those two like windmill things in the hair, and why he even wore a woman's kimono to signify who he called his sister, Nanao's mother, because of what had happened. Like, that's just such a sad story that these two important people in their lives died, and he has to carry that weight. And he can't even share the fact that he had the sacred treasure. That was the whole reason why she sacrificed herself to begin with. But Nanao knew about it. And that's why he was so surprised when she talked about it. It was like, wait, what? How do you know about that? Because no one knows that he was given that sacred treasure that sacrificed Nanao's mother's life. The fact that the shadows that are looming over their heads, the past that has happened to them, is now gone, for lack of a better term, that they can kind of move on, and how Nanao looks up and admires her uncle. And I think a few people are trying to ship the fact that it's like, hey, Nanao, and the way he acted. Come on, people. Can't a uncle like care for his niece and try to be there for her without it seeming like, oh, there's like, oh, they got something going on here, we need to ship them. And it's like, dude, she was struggling. She's trying to fight this big bad boss guy, this god, and she's struggling. She has the power to do it, but she's not a sword fighter. While he's, you know, dual blading swords, he's there to help her and support her. It doesn't have to be like this whole weird relationship thing. That it's just, he's there to help. And they have a stronger bond through their familial relation and what's going on here with the fighting, the battling that's happening. That's my 2 cents about it. So, I mean, hey, maybe you guys feel differently. Maybe you do ship them. Maybe you do think there's something closer there. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But definitely do not forget to like the video. Do not forget to, of course, hit that notification bell icon if you haven't already, because more videos will definitely be posted. And of course, I'm sure you're going to want to know when they do. In the meantime, you guys be safe. You take care. And Lord willing, I appreciate you being here. Bye-bye for now.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.